My papa called me this morning. Hi there, last night I had a lot of paranormal activity happen between 1 to 2:30 a.m. last night. A few things here and there, but the main one that stood out was someone grabbing my stomach. I was fully awake, I just checked my phone 2 minutes prior, but there was no doubt that a small hand, or something grabbed my stomach. I definitely think this activity isn't related to what happened next, but for sure weird as hell. I eventually fell asleep, and at exactly 8:24 a.m. I got a call from an unknown number. I don't answer calls that I don't know, so I ignored it because if it was that important, they'd leave a voicemail. A minute goes by and I got a notification saying that they left a message. I log into my voicemail and I hear my papa say his full name and after that static. I, of course, beat myself up for not answering, then immediately call back the number. The number that you are trying to reach is not in service, I am just in awe right now. Prior to this, on Father's Day, I went to his gravesite and told him that I'd like a sign. I specifically told him to not show himself or these signs after 10 o'clock, because I'm a wuss, and I think he answered my prayers. Edit, I'd also like to mention that he has never had this phone number. I keep hearing footsteps when no one's there. I don't live alone though. In past couple days, I've been hearing strange noises in my house. I don't live alone, I live with my family still, but these noises are when I'm alone or no one else is really doing anything. It's usually a sound almost like footsteps on the other end of the house or the basement, or sounds like cups being moved and set on the counter, but nothing's moved when I check. Every time I notice footsteps, my cat starts meowing at me and staring in the direction I heard the sound. Last night I heard footsteps approach the bathroom and stop in front of the door around 2 or 3 a.m. When I finally built up the nerve to open the door, my cat was waiting for me. The steps sounded human, maybe a man's? And just a few minutes ago, my stepmom called out asking if I was in the basement, so I walked out of my room and asked why. I'm upstairs. She told me she heard someone walk down the stairs, but she's sitting on the couch with my brother and my sister is eating at the table. Again, my cat was sitting at the stairs and looking down. He came running up to me meowing again when he noticed me. Anything that could reasonably explain this? It gets kind of stressful when I'm alone and hearing sounds I can't explain. Saw person's reflection, but they weren't really there. Years ago, I worked at a staffing company, and Fridays were the days some employees would pick up their weekly checks. One Friday in particular, I was in our office workroom just off the main reception area. I had my back turned facing the doorway and facing a large framed painting on the wall. I remember I looked up at the painting and very clearly saw the figure of a guy standing there with a white t-shirt and yellow harness. He looked just like this one particular employee I knew, so when I saw this, I turned around quickly to say hello. Only, he wasn't there. I went out into the reception area and also looked down the hall towards the restroom and he wasn't there either. Later on that day, the guy came in dressed the same as when I saw him in the reflection. I asked him if he'd been there earlier, and he told me he hadn't as he'd just gotten off his shift. I'm wondering if anyone has ever experienced this before. Something in my son's room. This happened about 5 or so minutes ago as I'm writing this, so I was walking to the bathroom and I have to pass my son's room to get there. But as I was passing his room, I seen a light that looked like it was moving around, kinda like someone holding a flashlight was looking around his room, so I went in to see what it was. But when I went in, my son was asleep in his bed and the room was completely empty. I've come here to see if I can possibly get any answers on what this could have possibly been. I've always believed in the paranormal and am almost certain I have witnessed it in my childhood, but I've never seen anything like this. Anyone able to help me understand what this could have been? Knocking at my door, but no one was there. For some context, my front entrance has 2 doors, a see-through one and the one that actually lets you get in the house. The transparent door has some old Scotch tape on it, making it obvious whether it's open or not if you're looking through the peephole. Just now, I was awoken to the sounds of someone knocking at the front door. Ignored it a couple of times of thinking that it was some salesperson, and hoping they'd walk away. After a couple of times of them knocking the door, I finally get up to see who it is. I look through the peephole to see who it is, but no one is there. The door knocks again as I'm looking through the hole, but no one is there. I then hear the clicking sound of the transparent door closing, even though I could clearly see that it was already closed. I never saw someone walk out of my porch, let alone hear the sounds of someone stepping down its stairs. The same thing happened yesterday afternoon. The situation left me kinda spooked, and I'd like to know of any explanation or reasoning behind this. Something in my room at night. Recently moved to a new apartment, and for the first time ever in my life, I'm having sleep paralysis. Every single time I feel a presence, someone touching my side and back with their fingers. I have abandoned my room at this point, and never go in there anymore unless I have to. It's not just because of this, other things have been happening as well. A couple months ago, I was laying in my bed, and in the reflection of my TV, I saw a being about 3 feet tall standing and staring at me. As soon as I noticed it, in a strangely inhuman way, it ducked down incredibly fast out of view. I immediately got up and looked under my bed, and there was nothing I could see. This happened to me when I was a kid too. I was having a nightmare about a short hooded figure about the size of a child, and when I ran up to see what it was, I felt a sharp pain in my left side and woke up. When I opened my eyes, I saw a being in the darkness standing about a foot from my face that was about 3 feet tall as well. After seeing it a couple seconds, it vanished into thin air, as if it turned invisible. Well, the sleep paralysis with it touching my back happens also to that same exact side I felt a sharp pain in when I was a kid that woke me up. It got so bad, I had to abandon the room I was sleeping in, as I mentioned. The last couple nights I was in there, something terrifying happened. One night, I felt something get up on my bed next to me, moving my mattress. I could feel the weight of it. The next night I woke, and saw what looked like the hand of a child reaching up from under my bed, in the reflection of my mirror trying to grab me. Well, this is where shit gets really scary. The literal next day my roommate tells me how his coworker had a weird experience. A being reached up from under the line in a restaurant, when he was closing alone, and grabbed his leg. It then tried to do it again. Thing is, he was alone, and there is no room for a person down there to hide at all. I didn't tell him what happened to me, and we have no contact with each other at all. Things like this have been happening to me since I was a kid. Literally doesn't matter where I go, it follows me everywhere. I don't know if it is one thing, or multiple different things happening to me. I've had experiences where a man talking to me wakes me up. It's always the same voice. Or another time someone clapped third hands directly in my face, but I was home alone. Recently, even though I've been sleeping in the living room with my cats, I've been woken up twice now by a voice talking directly in my ear. The last time it happened, it was so loud, it hurt my ear. One night I got drunk and was taunting it. I know, stupid idea, but I was at the end of my rope and feeling really stressed out. I told it how it's a coward for hiding, and that I'm going to find it. I was laughing. Well, it yelled directly in my ear one morning saying, "Aren't you going to laugh at me?" Things at different homes have been moving on their own. There's been lights turning themselves off. Cats chasing and growling at something I can't see. This is bizarre, but just a couple weeks ago, when I was watching TV with my roommate, I saw something duck down behind my mattress. I have it in my living room now. Thing is, whatever it was, couldn't have been larger than half a foot. What even is that small? And when we got up to look, there was nothing there. I know some people will probably say it's hallucinations, or that it's just sleep paralysis, but it happens when I'm awake as well. I feel it's important to note I haven't been having just paranormal or supernatural type experiences, but I also saw a gray alien as well. One night when I was walking home, around 2 in the morning, I saw a very tall slender being with no clothes on, crouched behind some bushes right outside my bedroom window. It had a teardrop head and absolutely massive black eyes, and was just staring at me. Barely any nose or mouth, no ears. I'd say if it stood up, it would be about 8 to 9 feet tall. There was another time I woke up with my shirt on backwards, and blood in my mouth. Had a dream that I was on a table somewhere I've never been, and a gray was standing over me smiling. I don't know what to do. I don't know what this all is. I feel like I am a magnet for the weird, and I hate it. It has ruined my life. I am not normal anymore, and I am so depressed and anxious. I constantly carry a knife everywhere I go in my apartment, and am scared to sleep. I'm always watching my surroundings, and feel like there is always something watching me, ready to attack me at any moment. What do I do? Does anyone have any similar experiences, or have any idea why this is happening to me? I feel so isolated, and like nobody believes me.